What is going on, everybody? It's Rob Brunson with Wallace Electronic Sales. Today is our first episode of what we're going to call the electronic intervention. That's, of course, subject to change. Today we have Scott Lindberg from Quell. I'm going to go ahead and bring him in. What's going on, Scott?
You know, Rob, it's another beautiful day in paradise. I'm down here in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yeah, what are you doing in Albuquerque? I know you're originally from Colorado. What you doing down there?
Well, this is where our facility is down here at Quell. So I'm down here visiting, making sure everything's running nice and smooth.
Gotcha. So what do you do at Quell?
What do we do at Quell? You mean me personally or the company?
Well, let's start with you personally, and then we'll get into the company, because we could go a little deeper on the company, because you got this beautiful website to take a look at.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, let's see. My official title is Vice President, which is kind of boring. And I'm not really a title guy, which you couldn't tell from my business card. My business card reads Proactive Intergalactic Supreme Sales Commander. So
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So how long have you been doing it?
So I've been down at Quell now for a little over 7 years.
Okay, cool. And what got you started into the mill aerospace kind of industry?
Well, so I've been in the industry for 35 years or something like that.
Right.
Started out as a manufacturer's rep, doing what you do.
Oh, okay.
Up in Colorado, and sold passive electromechanical products for years and years, and left the rep business in 2004, got into semiconductors,
Okay.
did a lot of stuff there, and eventually found Quell 7 years ago doing some consulting, and they brought me on board to grow sales for this company, and it's a great company to be with.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about Quell.
About Quell. Well, most of the world has never heard of us. We're this is our 27th year, founded
Right.
Back in 1994, if I got my dates right. Invented a product called EE Seal in 1995, patented it, and it is a silicone rubber packaging technology where inside silicone rubber we add chip devices that we put inside of a connector and make a filtered connector in a matter of seconds.
Cool. If it's okay with you, I'm going to pull up the website just because I think it's a really good one here. So
absolutely.
Give me 1 second here. Let me pull up screen one. That's where you are. So yeah, here's the Quell website, and I think it's really well done. So why don't you walk us through this?
Well, there's all the standard stuff that you can see, where you can see home, how and why, products and stuff like that. But let's just talk about the products. Let's go to how and why. Go to how and why first.
Okay.
So how it works. We're going to do two things. I'd like to show you a video in just a little bit, but let's start with scrolling down after you get how and why. Scroll down a little bit past the video.
Okay. And
you'll see a cutaway. That cutaway right there. So again, we make a silicone rubber packaging technology where inside the silicone rubber, we place 0402, 0603 chip devices. So in that cutaway, you see that blue section. That is the EE Seal.
Okay.
So we're going to add a circuit, an electronic circuit, to a connector, right? So you've got a standard 38999 connector such as this. You can see on the top, you've got a plug. On the bottom, you have the receptacle. You have the interfacial seal, which is that orange piece, and then you have the pin.
Right.
If you look at the construction of the EE Seal, you'll see that chip. If you point to that chip inside the EE Seal, that is a capacitor, resistor, TVS, MOV. It's whatever you want it to be, right, for the needs. For EMI, we'll use a capacitor. So there's two wires soldered on one end that protrude to the holes. There's two wires soldered on the back end. You only see one here. They create a spider web of a ground plane.
Okay.
That spider web gives us very low inductance, right, which improves our attenuation, right? So we add that, and all you do is place that over the pins. And if you'll scroll down a little bit further, you can see what happens when we made it. Now that pin goes through the hole of the EE Seal, which stretches the silicone rubber, which then compresses and holds the wires of the EE Seal very tightly down onto the pin of the connector.
Cool.
And you have a custom circuit very quickly.
Right. And each one of these are specifically made for each design, right?
Oh, everything we do is custom. And one of the nice things is, because we're using discrete devices, every pin can be treated uniquely. Right. So pins 1 through 5 can have a 47 nanofarad capacitor on it. Pins 6 through 10 can have 220 picofarads. Pin 21 to 22, you can have a pull-up resistor between them. And the rest can be open, right? And one of the slick things about it, the two guys that invented this product back in 1994, they cut their teeth doing EMP hardening on the B-2 aircraft years and years ago.
Okay.
And they needed something that they could get quickly as engineers. So they designed the EE seal. So if you call today, as a matter of fact, if you click on that red button at the top that says request a sample, and then you click on a custom sample, if you call us today or fill out this form, we can design, build, and ship you a product in as little as 24 hours or 48 hours. Totally custom that we've never seen before.
That's definitely a nice little feature there. So I was wondering, you've told me this story before, and I think it's a really cool story. I was wondering if you could tell the story of the helicopter that you guys had to do where they're having some noise issues and things were dropping down, and you guys went out and did that. I think that's a really cool story. So I was wondering if you could tell that. If you can't, I understand.
No, I can share it.
Okay.
Early on, there was a military helicopter that when they turned on the rotors, the blades flapped. It's supposed to turn and spin and take off, but they were having some noise problems, and the helicopter was flapping its wings or the rotors as opposed to spinning. So they called us, and we ended up putting in, I believe it was 128 pin EE seal inside the connector, and it smoothed it right out. And it solved their problem like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what else can we look at on here? Because we know the how and why and the request the free sample. Did you want to share that Skolnick video?
Yeah, I'd love to. So if you go to resources, go to resources and go down to instructional videos.
Okay.
And I go this way. It's on the website in several different places. But if you go to this site, you can see lots of other things too. Cool. You can see some insertion, how to insert it into circulars or D-subs, how to extract it, because you can actually pull them out if you want. And there's also a military vehicle page down there, so you can see an actual demo on a military vehicle. Okay. But let's go back to Skolnick, because the Skolnick video, Jay Skolnick is a consultant. He does a lot of ESD and EMI consulting, and he came in and took a tour of our facility a couple of years ago, and he went away and he designed this box. Okay. He designed a box to demonstrate to his students how EMI and ESD can be affected in a box. And then he called us up and said, send me an EE seal, and this is what I want. So we sent it to him, didn't know what he was doing with it, and he dropped it into this box to demonstrate it to his class. And then he came and demonstrated it for us. So you can expand that. And if we can play that for everybody, that would be awesome. It really shows how it works, how to install it, and how effective and how effective it is and how quickly you can get it. So
yeah, let me pull it up. I'll blow it up and take us off the screen.
Welcome
so it'll
to the
go
Skolnick
full.
Technical Training Institute. Our trainer, Mr. Jay Skolnick.
In today's demo, we have an electronic control unit, or ECU. This unit could be in an aircraft, tank, or automobile, and could be for controlling the engine, a missile, or the airbags in the car. Imagine this ECU is in your application. Inside our ECU is a power supply, analog and digital electronics, along with a microprocessor which is running the code. Power is applied in the front of the unit, and the solid green light shows the unit is functioning properly. The red indicator light will alert us to any event that interrupts the microprocessor. This could mean a false airbag deployment, an inaccurate missile warning indicator, a misguided missile, engine stall, or other unwanted event. In today's demonstration, we will first show a radiated susceptibility issue caused by an ESD event. Next, you will see a conducted emission issue being generated from the electronics inside the ECU. Finally, we will show solutions to both problems. A radiated susceptibility problem is caused by an ESD event where our ECU is subjected to a voltage spike of 1 kV. This transient causes an interruption of the microprocessor. The red indicator light flashes and an audible tone sounds to signal the event. Moving to the issue of conducted emissions that affect our unit, we will use a spectrum analyzer. The spectrum analyzer shows EMI issues with our ECU at 50 megahertz, as well as some other smaller spikes in the 10 to 30 megahertz range. To meet the required specifications, we must mitigate both the EMI issues as well as protect our unit against transient or ESD events. In our effort to solve our problems, we are going to use an EE seal from Quell. The prototypes are delivered in 24 hours, and inserting the EE seal into our MIL 5015 connector is easy. We simply place the EE seal over the pins of the connector until the pins protrude through the holes. Once in place, we're using the mating connector as our insertion tool to secure the EE seal and create our very own filtered connector, including ESD protection, in seconds. Now that we have our EE seal in place, we can retest our ECU to see if we have solved our issues. First, we apply a 1 kV event to our ground plane, and the green light remains lit, and we receive no indicator or audible tone that a transient has affected our box. Next, we look back at our spectrum analyzer to see what changes have occurred in the EMI noise affecting our box. As you can see, all frequencies from 10 to 50 megahertz have been mitigated and are no longer an issue.
Today's ESD and EMI solutions were fast and effective. If you'd like additional information on today's product solutions from Quell, visit www.eeseal.com. The Skolnick Technical Training Institute is proud to
We'll let Skolnick get a little plug in really quick,
learn
Scott.
more about
Why not?
EMI.
He's a great guy.
More information on the Skolnick Technical Training Institute can be found at www.skolnick-tech.com.
That's a really cool video. I think that's really informative, especially for engineers who are looking to solve some sort of an EMI or EMC solution in their product. So
Yeah,
definitely a nice little valuable tool.
it's a fun video to share because it shows you how it works, how easy it is to install. And again, you know, we deliver samples. I didn't believe it when I first got down to Quell and I took a tour. Our CEO Kevin said, "Hey, you know, we'll deliver these in 24 to 48 hours." And I said, "This is a very complex device. There's no way. There's no way you can do that." He says, "We do it every day." I said, I'm not going to believe it until I see it twice. When I see it twice, you've proven it. The first time you're just showing off. And every day of the week, we ship a sample out that we've gotten in the last 2 days.
Well,
and
it's really cool for us as manufacturers representatives, right? Because what we really ultimately have to sell is solutions, right? So one of the things that we've really gotten into is, okay, what's your problem? We'll give you a solution. You know, everyone's selling products, right? So Quell's a great example of, hey, I'm having this specific problem, right? So we can provide this specific solution. And it's really easy to say, hey, this is what it does, especially with a video like that and such a good website. So yeah, it's really cool.
You know, it is fun. To me, it's the most fun I've ever had selling electronics. And we do that and we turn those parts and we give those samples to customers for free. Yeah, it's a totally custom part and we'll give them to them for free, and we give it to them for free for two reasons. One, we want to solve their problem. And frankly, if we charge them for that sample, it might take 2 weeks for purchasing to get us the order. In some cases, I've taken orders from customers where they said, I need these 24 unique parts and I need 2 or 3 of each one of them. We've designed, built them, and had them ready to ship in days. And it took 2-3 weeks to get the order. It just takes time for procurement. The other reason we give it to them for free is I want to make sure it solves their problem. I don't want to charge them for something that doesn't work.
Which makes sense.
And the goal is we've got a permanent solution that goes into production and lasts for years. And I will tell you that in 2020, we sold products designed from 1996, 97, 98, all the way through 2020. So it's a permanent solution for production.
Yeah, awesome. So I want to talk about the elephant in the room, right, which is COVID. And especially since you deal with military and aerospace, you know, most of us know that the aerospace, there you go. You got, mine's hanging on my door over there. So whenever I leave my office, I can grab it. You know, it's a military and an aerospace product, right? So I would suspect the military probably did okay with everything, but how did the aerospace industry really affect Quell? And then what is something that you guys were proud of, almost like a pivot where you said, okay, this is the situation. This is kind of what's going on. How are we going to pivot our business a little bit to become more adaptable to, I hate the term new normal, but the world that we're currently living in. So how did that work for you guys?
There's a lot to unpack there. So our business is 90% military, aerospace, space, and medical. Right. COVID affected aerospace dramatically because nobody's flying, nobody's traveling, right? So the aerospace industry got hurt quite a bit. It probably dropped our aerospace business 25-30%. We made up for that in the medical side because COVID. We've got parts in our some medical devices that were used in the COVID research.
Right.
So medical jumped up for us last year. So we were slightly down last year. So that's how it affected us. But other than that, COVID was kind of a non-event for our business, other than what we had to do to protect our people, health-wise. Now, daily activities, what you're doing here on LinkedIn is pretty slick, right? This is the first time I've done one of these. We've done tons of Zoom meetings and team meetings and WebExes.
Right.
The military world doesn't usually have a camera on their computers.
No, they don't.
So a lot of times you're staring at a blank screen.
Or initials,
Yeah, and or you get the fake background with I got palm trees behind me. So
there you go.
I'm squatting in somebody's office down here in Albuquerque. So
cool. So how has technology helped you guys? Especially over the last year and a half, right? Have you said, okay, I'm going to use this kind of technology, take Teams and stuff like that out of it? How are you getting the Quell word out and say, this is what we do? Because usually you would be going on sales calls and you'd be sitting down in front of people and you'd be talking to people face to face. Since that's not happening anymore, have you guys put together, more digital material? How many Teams meetings have you done? Just out of curiosity, in the last year and a half.
This week I've only done about 3, but it is Tuesday, so there's plenty.
That's true.
I probably have 8 Teams meetings or WebExes or Zooms every week.
Okay.
Right. And so from a technology standpoint, I think what we're doing is we're doing more digital marketing since you can't get out and make sales calls.
Right.
We're doing more email blasts, more advertising. So we can reach out to the customers because, again, the majority of the world hasn't heard about us. So 90% of the time when I go out and make sales calls, what do you know about Quell? And they go, never heard about you.
Right.
And I go, well, I've been to your company. We actually been selling to your company for the past 16 years. And they go, where? I go, right here.
Yep.
But we're one of the last things that's designed in. So most of the technology that's helped us is really the tools.
Sure.
It's doing things like SharpPoint and doing digital advertising.
Sure. So this is big J journalism, Scott. So I'm going to ask tough questions too. If you could go back and you could change one thing pre-COVID, what would that be?
If I could change one thing.
Right. If you knew COVID was
pre-COVID.
coming. Right. If you knew it was coming and you said, okay, I'm going to change this before COVID comes, what would you change, if anything?
You know what? I don't know that I would change anything. I mean, we've been very successful prior. We added manufacturers reps and distributors back in 2014. I guess if I would have changed anything, I'd have added them sooner, but I wasn't here until then, so I couldn't do that. I might have done more digital marketing just prior to COVID. Sure. I probably wouldn't have invested money prior to COVID. I would have waited until it dropped, and then I would have invested money into stocks then.
Sure. Well, all right, let me do this. Since we're on that subject, I just want to go a little bit off the wall real quick. What is your thoughts on cryptocurrency?
I wish I'd gotten into that before it spiked.
Right.
And now I'm a little personally afraid of it in terms of investing in it. Right. Sure. It is going to be a thing in the future. I just think it's here to stay. Just wish I'd invested at the right time. I haven't invested anything in it. So
right. It's crazy to think Bitcoin was 5 cents in 2011.
You could have made a lot of money, but you could have lost a lot of money too. So
that's very true. So if you were talking to someone, my age or younger, and they were thinking about getting into sales or, the mil-aero industry or the electronics industry, one, what's cool about it? What do you really like about it? And two, what advice would you give them?
Well, first of all, the electronics industry is a great industry, and you're in the rep business. The rep business is a great industry.
It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun, and you get to, every day is different.
That's right.
I would recommend anybody get into the industry. It is fun, and the best part about it is the people you get to work with.
Yep.
I've made friends all around the world because of what I've done in electronics. I was talking to a guy in France yesterday, wishing him a happy anniversary to him and his wife.
That's awesome.
Don't even work with them anymore, but I've good friends that I've had for years. So,
sure.
And I guess the advice I'd give is stick with it, get into it, and do the right things and care about people.
Cool. So this is another kind of, open-ended question, but I'm going to ask every single person who comes on this, right? What is a leader to you, and why is leadership so important in business?
Why is leadership? Well, first of all, you have to have a vision. So a leader is somebody that has a vision for the company and direction of where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
A leader is a coach.
Yep.
It's somebody that will coach the team that you have and make sure that you're guiding people the right way and help people grow. And a leader is somebody that's going to grow people eventually to take over their position.
Right. I agree. And I'm lucky because I've got Mark and Emmett. You know Mark and Emmett very well. And those guys are the best. So I really fell into an awesome situation. I'm extremely fortunate for those guys. So good leaders are hard to find, There's
a lot of different ways to lead. You can my favorite is lead by example.
Sure.
Right? Do the right thing, work hard, lead by example, and help others.
Sure. Absolutely. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to just get into some rapid fire questions, and then we'll kind of circle back to the Quell thing. We'll kind of review everything really quickly, but I just want to ask some kind of off the wall questions to you and just, let people know Scott a little bit better. So what is the greatest movie of all time?
The greatest movie of all time.
In your opinion?
In my opinion, I gotta say Star Wars. And then you got to track it down. I really, that was ahead of its time.
Really?
Star
Wars more than Lord of the Rings?
Oh, definitely.
Ooh, we'll have to talk offline about this. That's okay. I like Star Wars too. Once Disney got a hold of it, it got a little wonky for me. When Lucasfilms was doing it, the first three were absolutely incredible. And to your point, they were ahead of its time. But I'm a huge Lord of the Rings guy.
Well, Star Wars way back in the day, Star Wars 4, 5, and 6, the first three that came out, they were way ahead of their time.
I'm sure. So I want to jump on to a question really quick, Scott. Carly's already answered it. She's on top of it. But so this is from David Bennington. So the question is, are these filters available through distribution or only on a direct basis?
All right. So I didn't know we were taking questions from people. I didn't know
they were going to ask questions, Scott, to be honest with you. Let's do this because we know we like to involve Carly. Let's see what Carly said, and let's see if you agree with that response.
All right. I like that.
How does that sound? All right. So here's what Carly said. These filters can be available on a direct basis or through distribution, depending on the situation. Did Carly do a good job?
She did a perfect job.
Great.
She did a perfect job. We love distribution. And that was from David Bennington?
That was from David Bennington.
I love it. Thanks, David. Nice to see you.
And just a couple other comments. We got Nick, amazing product with a simplistic.
Nice, Nick. Now we lost Rob. So maybe I'm the only one left. Now I get to ask the questions.
I lost connection there, I think, for a second.
I was going to be the host of the show for a second.
No, I need a Quell EMI filter for my computer. But yeah, I don't know what happened there. That was a little weird. Maybe we were only scheduled for a certain amount of time. Anyways, we're back. Not a big deal. So, all right, Star Wars is the best movie of all time. So I understand that you own a brewing company or part of it. Is that true?
That is true. I do own, my wife and I own a portion of a brewing company up in beautiful Bend, Oregon.
Okay.
Called Crux Fermentation Project, CRUX.
Okay, cool. That sounds very interesting. I'm more of a wine guy. That's just because of my fiance, but I do love a good beer. Also, you can kind of tell, my metabolism isn't really what it used to be. So, right. Beer kind of, it'll put on some pounds relatively quick for me.
You're only a wine guy because you haven't tasted our beer.
Oh, I like that.
If you tasted our beer, you wouldn't be a wine guy. Or maybe it's because your fiance wines. Maybe not.
No, not really. She's really sweet. She's way nicer than I am, and I'm pretty nice. Can we order that online if I wanted to order that, or it's because I'm all the way in North Carolina. So, How does one obtain this Crux?
We're working on that. Shipping beer across state lines isn't as easy as shipping wine. Although we just came out with a new non-alcoholic beer, non-alcoholic IPA. Okay, which we're going to make available because you can ship that across state lines. So that's coming soon.
So David said Crux is amazing. He had his first glass on Scott's back deck. That's, beautiful. Maybe one day I'll get to hang out on your back deck, Scott. And
come visit. Come visit. We'll take you.
All right. That sounds good. So The next question, as you can see behind me, I'm a huge Ravens fan. So I'm really excited about the draft.
I'll talk slow for you.
I appreciate it. We'll go get the elite quarterback, Joe Flacco, to come back and, throw another 85-yard bomb to send us to the Super Bowl. But I want to know who you think the Broncos are going to draft and who you would like to see them draft, because those two things can be a little bit different.
Well, who they are going to draft. I think they're going to draft Micah Parsons.
Okay. I think that's a great pick.
I think it's a great pick. Who do I want him to? I think that's who I want him to draft too.
Okay.
There's a lot of talk about quarterbacks. Drew Lock. I don't think he's been given his fair shake yet. I think there's a lot left in there. We just need to give him another year.
Cool. So let me ask you this. All right. So I agree with you on the Drew Lock thing. I'm a little skeptical on him, but I think he still has a lot of potential. He's definitely got the arm strength. He's got to get through his progressions a little bit quicker. But the next question is, if you turn on the TV on draft day and the Carolina Panthers trade you Teddy Bridgewater, what's your reaction to that?
Do we have to have his contract, or are they paying his salary?
I think you're going to have to take the contract. I think it would be interesting, Teddy two gloves, but I would prefer Lock. And if Lock doesn't work out, you win 5 or 6 games. Because the thing about Denver is you guys are going to win games off your defense alone. I mean, your defense is really good, and your skill position players are extremely interesting. I think Phillip Lindsay's going to hurt you guys. Like, losing Phillip Lindsay is going to hurt a little bit. But that wide receiver core, I really like Noah Fant, and your offensive line is pretty good. So it'll be interesting to see, and only 2 more sleeps until the NFL draft.
That's true. I think we're going to get a running back in the 2nd or 3rd round.
I think so too.
I think that's going to be important to us. And Bridgewater, I think, would be a great quarterback to have on the Broncos roster if we could get him for like a 6th round pick, and Carolina gets stuck with the majority of his salary.
Okay, there you go. It sounds like maybe you can call up Dave Tepper at Carolina. Steve Cooper said ship it to Maryland. Steve's a Ravens fan. We actually, when we were talking about a Quell opportunity, he had actually got brought up because I was drinking my Ravens coffee mug here, and he had sent me an email afterwards. So I want to pull back up the Quell website one more time, and us just walk us through it, and we'll be right at about 30 minutes. I know you're a busy guy, so I'll let you go ahead. But so, again, I'll kind of reiterate this. If you guys need a free sample, just come up here and make sure you hit that free sample button. And like Scott said, you'll just fill all that good stuff out, and they'll get you one in the mail. Could be about 24 hours, maybe a little bit longer, but regardless, really, really quick turnaround. Scott, is there anything else you want to touch on this website before we take off?
No, I got to say, Rob, you're a man ahead of your time. This is awesome to do.
I don't know about that, but thank you.
I understand I'm the guinea pig on this.
You are.
I think this is a great deal. Should be a lot of fun with all your factories and sharing stuff with customers and reps around the country alike.
Absolutely. So again, guys, if you guys want to go check out Quell, go to eeseal.com/samples. Scott, what we can do, if you'd like, maybe on the LinkedIn page where this invite was, we can actually post a link for all the representatives or the manufacturers reps and the distributors. If anyone watching this has any questions, you'll know the right rep firm or distributor to get in touch with. So that way you guys will be able to connect, and we'll be able to solve some problems for people a little bit faster. Nick says, sell the Quell.
Sell the Quell, baby. Sell the Quell.
That's right. So Scott, look, man, I really appreciate you coming on, especially for the first time, right? We only lost connection one time, which I don't know what was up with that, but I was really excited about this because I know you're really easy to talk to. So when I was talking to Mark and Emmett, I said, I hope I can get Scott on because I know he's really laid back and easygoing. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah. And I need to get what's the SAG card? I need to get a SAG card now that I got this, right?
There you go. That's right. Yeah, we'll get you, maybe we'll become like part of the Oscars one day. Who knows? Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for, checking in. There's a lot of good comments. Scott, me and you can review that after this. But you guys have a great day. That's Scott Lindberg from Quell. And again, like he said, everyone make sure to sell the Quell. I'm Rob Brunson with Wallace Electronic Sales. You guys be sure to check us out on LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, all that good stuff. Scott, take it easy, my man.
Thanks all.
Thanks, everyone, so much for watching the stream. It's Rob Brunson with Wallace Electronic Sales. We want to provide you and your company with quality and competitive solutions. We don't care if you're a small OEM, a medium-sized OEM, or a large OEM. We have solutions that we can provide to everybody. Feel free to drop me an email at rob.brunson@west-inc.com. Again, that's robbrunson@west-inc.com. You can also check out our full OEM line card on our website, and that's at west-inc.com. Again, that's at west-inc.com. Thanks so much again for watching the stream, and we look forward to talking to you soon.
Touching the